try to stay grounded gardening. Today we're going to be talking about potatoes and dig or no dig, and maybe the variety of potatoes I use, and that's pretty much it, and how I do it. Here we go. Okay, so you may be already wondering, what the heck? You're a no-till bed. You like to practice no-till gardening, no dig. And I've just dug up this entire row for potatoes. Let me just explain myself quickly. Okay, so last year I had my potatoes in these, not in these bags, but in these towers on all 4 of these rows. And I put the potatoes in and I built them up with straw and dirt, layering them, and then throughout the summer they grew out of these holes. Well, the greenery did, and then at the end of the year I chopped off all the greenery and I pulled out the dirt, and voila, there was my potatoes. So that was last year. The year before, I did the typical in the ground hilling up because I wanted to see which ones would do better on the scale that I was doing them. At the end of the year last year, when we cut off everything and we were dumping them out, I decided basically right then and there that this year I was gonna hill them because it was just way easier. Putting them in here and then filling them up, and then at the end of the year cutting all that stuff up, like they got big, like they were overrun with greenery that I had to cut off and compost, which was great for the compost, blah blah blah, but it ended up being a lot more work. The dirt kind of got compacted. Even though I threw a ton of straw in there, it got compacted, so when we were lifting them up, they were really hard to get out. It was just a lot more work than what I thought it was going to be. If I had made these somehow to like open up and then just dump out, maybe that would have been easier, but I didn't do that. I kept them as like this sphere, or sorry, cylinder, and lifted it out thinking that it would all dump out. It did not do that. It was not that easy. So hilling is going to be a lot easier. So typically on a no dig bed, what you would do is prepare the space in which you're going to plant things in. That would mean over time you do things like lay down a ton of cardboard, lay down compost on top, water that in, make it so that the cardboard is soft enough that when you plant things into it, the roots can go right through it. It doesn't take that long, but I would say it takes about 2 to 3 months for that to fully break down for little roots to go through. I decided in probably about January or February this year that I wanted to go hog wild with our potatoes. We eat a lot of potatoes, and I feel like I can get better at storing them. And we just never have enough, because I love going to get the new potatoes, or like little baby potatoes, but then I would also like extra to store over the winter or into the fall, because to be honest, I'm just terrible at storing them and they don't make it into the winter, or we just eat more. So this year I was like, you know what? I want to try and make a 50-foot row of potatoes and see how that does, see how much we get out of it. And so that's what I did. So because I decided that so late into the year, like after fall had passed, there was no way I was going to be able to put cardboard down and then a fresh layer of compost and the mulch and water it in order for those to be able to dig through that to plant potatoes. So this was the only option for me. What I did was I got a friend to help us with a sod cutter. They cut out all the sod in this space, and then today I just took this guy and ripped it through. I will say that once you start doing something like this, you start realizing just how much life you're disturbing in the soil. So once you start digging, you start seeing things popping out like beetles and worms and maybe spiders and stuff like that. Even flying stuff like mosquitoes that everybody hates. Even though those may seem like pests to you just because they're up all in your face, they are an integral part of the ecosystem that is surrounding your garden, and that is your garden. This area behind us tends to be a little bit more wet. And last year I remember mowing and seeing a salamander go across. This is so sad. So I saw a salamander go and he totally escaped the mower, which was great. But today, as I was going through this, I hit a salamander and half of his body was completely destroyed. And I felt like bawling my face off because it was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. So you have to be aware of what you're doing when you start doing stuff like tilling up beds, tilling up dirt and all that kind of crap. Yeah, I had to do it to get potatoes, but just be aware that there may be a life that you take, like a little itty bitty salamander. Just so you know, there was another salamander and he somehow escaped the blades, and I moved him into the trees. So that was a thing that happened. It was so sad, but at least one of them got out of there. I felt really bad. So just know that's a thing that could happen, and it can be poopy. So speaking of bugs, the mosquitoes are starting to come out. The sun is kind of getting a little lower in the sky. It is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's behind a cloud right now, so the mosquitoes are just like, hey. So I'm gonna get to start planting my potates. I'll go through the variety that I have and what I'm hoping for this year. All right, I'm gonna do a little time lapse here of me digging the potatoes because like I said, those mosquitoes are getting a little harsh. So I'll just go over here what I am planting this year. The seed potatoes that I got are Yukon Gold. Good for mashing is what those ones say. The, I'm gonna mess this up. Gourmandine, something like that. Says it's a specialty seed potato. A 3-time winner of the French Taste of the Year Award. So those ones will be in the middle, and then I'll have the good old Norland. Those are red potato, good for roasting. I love those for baby potatoes, so I put them on the most northern side of the garden because then I'll know which ones I can grab first. I just want to have that in the video so that I remember which ones I grab first. Hopefully this is okay. I've Googled it and it seems to be okay that they're doing that, but I also have some moldy potatoes in here, so hopefully I can plant these and I get something out of it. I think this is better than mold. So I put these in my crawl space. Yeah, see? I put them in my crawl space and they did this anyways. So hopefully it's okay. I do have another big bag of potatoes that I actually grabbed from a farmer's market that also started putting out shoots. I know that you can eat them when they're like that, but I don't know if I can plant them. We'll see. I think I'm just gonna plant it with the whole thing too. I'm not gonna even cut it off. All right, well, the mosquitoes are starting to do this thing where they form a cloud and I can even hear them with my headphones in. So I'm going inside. Planted all the potatoes. Once little leaves start coming up, I'll wait till they're probably about 2 inches, 1.5 inch tall, and then I'll do what's called hilling. So all that is if my potato, if the greenery is this rock right here, all I'm gonna do is cover that up. Basically exactly what I did with those potatoes, with the potato seeds I should say, is the same thing. You just keep on hilling them and hilling them and hilling them. As that happens, you get like this kind of hill and the potatoes will shoot off underneath it. One of the other things I'm gonna do tomorrow is cover this entire bed with straw. If you don't cover the dirt, it'll cover itself, and it'll cover it with weeds. Not only will it cover itself with weeds, it will also help to keep the moisture in, and because this is the farthest part of my garden, keeping the moisture in the dirt is super important. All right, well, I think that's it for today's video. I'm go clean off my dirty hoe, and that'll be it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to do so. Ask those questions and comment away. Like, subscribe, all the things, do all the stuff and the things. I didn't have a dance party this video. Usually I have some sort of dancing. Have a great day.